Okay, this is my creation for Monster Bash 3, a cool idea put on by Miscast on YouTube. I'll put a link down below. For this, you are given a bunch of cards to create a monster. So I started with some cables and a USB cable, a cool, could be a Galar's head or wings or something like that, a light bulb with a face in it, a broken leg thing with wearing cargo shorts weirdly, some cool spider legs, and finally a skull. So I just started sketching up some stuff, put in the legs, try and make that look alright. I used one of, here I decided the broken leg would be one of the forward facing legs and the cables at the end of that. I ended up changing that idea, so then the head is in the light bulb. Turns out I can't draw skulls. My wings are a little bit average, but that looks kind of cool. Right, so that's where I'm starting from. I went to the discount shop and grabbed a bunch of animals. I started with the water buffalo because I figured his head would make a cool skull. Chop his head off. And I think that looks kind of cool. I have to chop some bits out of the horns so that they push closer down towards the skull. Make some fang tusk things to add to it. That's just out of a chopstick. I think that'll work. Grab my knockoff Dremel and try to make some eye holes and make this look a little bit more like a skull than it did. Next, grab the super glue and get the tusks in there. And yeah, I think that's starting to look okay. A little bit of work to be done. But next, grab a camel, chop all these legs off. This is a little bit brutal. And then, so that'll be one of the joints of the leg. Do the same with cute giraffe. And then again lose the hoops, and then take Skibby, the bush kangaroo, and chop him up. And then start sticking it together. With these ones I shaved them down a little bit to get those cool pointed ends of the legs. And yeah, I think I've almost got enough bits for the 6 legs on this monster creation. Next, grab myself some beads. They'll be the joints. Drill some holes in each of the things and jam the wire into them. Grab a bead and then feed them all together. And there we have one of the legs, which I think actually looks kind of cool. So make a bunch of them. Then next I carved the body out of just a foam sphere, which we'll see later didn't end up working anyway, but it gave me a good idea of how the legs were going to sit in the body. That's looking kind of cool. So next I'm going to make the light globe. These are just from the discount shop as well. Clean that all up so that it looks alright, sand it down, have a nice end, and that looks light globy. So now I'm kind of carving out the bottom of the skull so that I can get an LED in there. The battery attached, that looks kind of cool. Right, so the head will be coming up through the bottom of the light globe, so chop that. And it was at this point that I realised the glue was eating away at the foam body, so I took the kangaroo body and carved that up and drilled some holes for the legs, and I think this ended up working a lot better than it would have otherwise. I've got an old USB cable as the tail instead of on the leg, because I feel like that worked a bit better. Put all the legs in. The good thing about the wire joints is you can bend them into shape. And then once they're in position, glue them in. Get glue on your fingers. And then I'm trying the baking soda and super glue trick here to sort of build up around the edges, and it worked okay. Test fit the skull. Clean up my disgusting looking desk. Next I'm just drawing some ideas for the wings onto some EV foam. That'll work. Chop it out. And then cutting a few at once. Doing a second slightly smaller layer with the orange. And then a third one with the yellow. Just to get the wings to look almost like flames. So I textured them up a little bit with an awl, and then cut into the edges so that they looked a little bit more like sort of feathers. Test with that looks alright. Give it a bit more texture just with some scissors so that it looks a little bit more like feathers and a little bit less like a chunk of foam. So glue that all together. Get your hands out of the way of the shot, would be lovely. And then get onto the painting stage. So my painting skills aren't amazing at this stage, but I'm working on them. So I'm just going for a black base coat. I feel like that gives a nice neutral point to start from, especially with a creature that's going to have some sort of dark colour underneath. So next I'm just going for a dry brush of a bright yellow over the top of that. And then do the whole body there, and then I went for a white over the top of that, and I feel like it gave it a bit much, so I actually ran a brown over the top of that, which I don't think I got footage of. Give the skull a nice bone look. Yeah, I went green over the body, and there's a yellow underneath, and then I painted the joints in to look a little bit like bone, and then give some colour to the wings. So I just painted on some paint and then wiped it off to get some of the paint into the details there. So then just a silver over the black for the light glow metal part, and then this is a Games Workshop flesh wash just to get a nice rust look, and I feel like that looked alright. Same for the USB cable. Too much, so just wipe it off. Next I'm gluing on the light globe. Probably using too much glue, but it's better that it stays there. Putting the wings on. They look kind of cool. And then I figured they stuck out a little bit too much, so I gave them a little bit of a paint. Just a sort of a gradient to make them attach to the body better. This is just a drop of glue on the end of the broken leg, so just painting it to look like a blood drop coming off there. Cool, next I'm making a weird little case thing for the battery, which I ended up building into the body, and then adding some dots to the legs, and I think we're good. So these are the final shots. The battery just slots into the little thing and the eyes light up, which I think I'm quite happy with how that turned out. And then I got to do a slider shot because I bought a slider and have to justify it. A nice cross focus. And then we're done. This was a fun project, and I'm looking forward to doing more using the same method. Thank you for watching.